You feel a tug in your soul, a whisper of something grand on the horizon. This is no coincidence, nor just a fleeting thought. You, the chosen one, are being prepared for a breakthrough that will change everything in your life. The journey may be difficult, but every moment was part of the divine process to prepare you for what is to come. You may have been rejected or overlooked. You may not have gotten that promotion or lost that relationship you were counting on. But know this, God was protecting you. He closed those doors because they did not fit His ultimate plan for you. Sometimes it may seem like God is silent, like He is not hearing your prayers or your cries. But during these quiet moments, He is working behind the scenes. He is aligning people, opportunities, and circumstances in ways you cannot yet see. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every tear was not in vain. God was pruning you, removing things that no longer serve you, and refining your character. But now that the universe has tested you, it's time to receive that blessing of success. Chosen people, the message you have been waiting for has finally arrived. It is no coincidence that you clicked on this video today, but it is the universe's call that now is your happiest time. God is preparing you for life-changing success. You have been chosen to flourish, rise, and receive blessings that will completely change your life. Before the universe immerses you in this deep transformation, you can give your feedback to the universe by commenting 999. And if you are not connected with the energy of this channel, you can join by subscribing to the channel. And you can support us by sending a super chat. Your trials were not in vain. The trials you have faced, no matter how painful or difficult, were not in vain. Every hardship you endured, every moment of heartbreak, and every tear all served a greater purpose. It's easy to think that suffering doesn't mean anything, especially when you're in the midst of it. But consider this, your challenges were not just random events, nor were they punishments. Instead, they were part of a refining process, a way to shape and prepare you for something greater. Think about the process of refining gold. Raw gold is not the beautiful, shiny metal we admire. It is full of impurities, and in order to reveal its true beauty and value, it must go through an intense process. Gold is heated until it melts, and during that process, the impurities come to the surface and are removed. Only through this process can gold be pure. The same principle applies to you. In your life, the trials and hardships you faced can be seen as a refining process. The fire you went through, no matter how hot, was not intended to destroy you, but to remove what no longer serves you. It may feel overwhelming, but it was necessary to reveal your inner strength and potential. When you are going through a trial, it may feel like everything is being stripped away. Sometimes, this may even include the parts of your identity you were clinging to. But remember, it is all part of a bigger plan. God, or the universe, or whatever way you understand God, was using these trials to prune you. Just like a gardener carefully cuts off the dead branches of a tree so it can grow stronger and bear more fruit, the hardships in your life were removing things that no longer serve you. Whether it was relationships, mindsets, habits, or beliefs, the pruning was making room for growth, healing, and transformation. It's also important to recognize that the magnitude of your struggles often mirrors the magnitude of the blessings to come. If the battle was great, it's because the victory will be even greater. The pain you endured was not in vain. It was setting the stage for something far greater than you could have imagined. There was a lesson in every tear. There was growth in every heartbreak. There was strength being built in every challenge. These weren't just random, meaningless struggles. They were shaping you, preparing you for the success to come. So when you look back on your trials, don't see them as moments of defeat or weakness. See them as the fire that refined you, as the pruning that allowed you to flourish, and as the storm that exposed your resilience. The bigger the battle, the bigger the victory. Whatever lies ahead for you is huge, because what you have endured was not small. Your struggles were significant, and they have paved the way for equally significant victories. Your success is coming, and when it does, you will realize that none of your trials were in vain. Spiritual growth is at the core of this transformation. The process of spiritual growth is often at the center of profound transformation. In times of preparation, many people begin to notice a deepening in their connection to the divine. You may have started to sense this in your own life, the feeling that your spiritual sensitivity is heightening. Perhaps you've noticed that you're hearing God's voice or divine guidance more clearly, or maybe your intuition is sharper and you feel the presence of something greater guiding your steps. This kind of spiritual growth is not only powerful but also necessary for what's ahead in your life. When you go through such a transformative season, it's easy to focus on the external changes, the challenges, the opportunities, and the shifts in your physical world. But what often happens behind the scenes, in the quiet moments of reflection and prayer, is a deeper transformation of your soul. Your connection to the divine becomes more intimate. You might find that your faith has grown stronger, not because everything in your life has been easy, but precisely because you've had to lean on something greater than yourself to get through the difficult times. This faith, this unwavering trust, is a sign of spiritual maturity. Spiritual growth in this context is essential for your next steps. The elevation you're experiencing, where you feel more connected and attuned to God, is not happening by accident. It's happening because you are being prepared for the next phase of your journey. Think of it like this. If you're about to receive new blessings or step into a new level of responsibility, you need the spiritual foundation to sustain that. Without this growth, the blessings you're about to receive could become overwhelming, or you might not be able to handle them with the wisdom and grace they require. God, or the divine, is using this time to strengthen your spiritual muscles, so to speak, so that when the new blessings come, you'll be ready to carry them. This season of heightened spiritual sensitivity is like a training ground. Just as someone would train physically to prepare for a marathon or a big event, you are being spiritually trained to handle the weight of what's coming, the new opportunities, blessings, and responsibilities that are on their way will require you to be grounded in your faith, to have clarity in your discernment, and to trust deeply in your intuition and connection with the divine. This is why it's so important to embrace this time of preparation, even if it feels challenging or uncomfortable at times. What you're experiencing isn't just a random spiritual surge, it's purposeful. God is elevating you to a new level of awareness and understanding, so that when you enter the next phase of your life, you will do so with confidence, wisdom, and grace. This growth will enable you to steward the blessings that are coming with care and integrity. You'll be able to see the bigger picture, to understand the significance of what's unfolding, and to navigate it with a deep sense of peace and assurance. This spiritual growth is not just about what you're learning now, it's about what you'll be able to carry in the future. It's preparing you to walk into your destiny with a strength and clarity you may not have had before. The transformation you're going through is not only elevating your faith, but also deepening your connection with the divine, so that you can step into the new season with wisdom, grace, and the ability to handle the blessings that are coming your way. You're being prepared for something great, and this spiritual growth is the key to unlocking it. Rejection was God's protection. You may have felt rejected or overlooked. Rejection is one of those experiences that can deeply wound us, leaving us feeling unworthy, overlooked, or even unloved. Whether it's missing out on a promotion you worked hard for or watching a relationship fall apart that you thought would last forever, the sting of rejection can make you question everything. But here's something to consider. What if that rejection wasn't meant to harm you, but to protect you? What if that door closing was part of a greater plan, one designed to guide you towards something far better? It's hard to see it in the moment. When we don't get what we want, we often feel as though we've failed, or that life is unfair. But from a spiritual perspective, those closed doors weren't random or senseless. They were acts of divine protection. Sometimes what we think we want is not aligned with what's best for us. We might be focused on a specific job, relationship, or goal, but we don't always see the full picture. God, however, sees everything. He knows the dangers, the hidden challenges, and the things that might derail us from our true purpose. That rejection was God's way of saying, "This isn't for you, because I have something better." When a door closes in your life, it's easy to feel like you've been abandoned or forgotten, but rejection is often redirection. It's God steering you away from something that wasn't part of His plan and towards something that is. Think of it like a GPS system. When you make a wrong turn, or the road you're on leads to a dead end, the GPS doesn't just give up on you, it recalibrates, finding a new route to get you where you need to be. That's what's happening when you face rejection. God is recalibrating your path, making sure that the way you're heading will lead you to your ultimate destination. There's a level of trust that comes with understanding that rejection is protection. It requires faith to believe that even though something didn't work out, it's because there's something better on the horizon. The relationship that fell apart wasn't meant to last, because the person who is truly meant for you is still coming. The job you didn't get wasn't right because there's an opportunity that is more aligned with your gifts and your purpose waiting for you. You weren't overlooked, you were being guided toward what is uniquely yours. It's also important to realize that not everything is meant for you, and that's okay. Sometimes we hold on to things that aren't aligned with our highest good because they feel familiar or because we think they're what we want. But God knows what's truly meant for you, and nothing can interfere with that. No amount of rejection can stop the blessings that are designed with your name on them. When one door closes, it's not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new chapter, one that's filled with the possibilities that are tailor-made for you. The breakthrough that's coming into your life is going to be bigger and better than what you could have imagined. The reason certain things didn't work out is because they weren't part of that plan. God was clearing the way for the blessings that are meant for you. And when those blessings arrive, they will fit so perfectly into your life that you'll understand why everything else had to fall apart. Rejection hurts, but it's also a form of divine protection and guidance. God doesn't just remove things from your life without a reason. He does it to make space for what's truly meant for you, for the opportunities, relationships, and experiences that are aligned with your purpose. Trust that what didn't work out wasn't meant to be, and that what's coming is so much greater. Your breakthrough is on its way, and nothing that wasn't meant for you will stand in its way. People around you will change. As you prepare for this new level, some relationships may change. You may find that some people who were once central to your life begin to distance themselves. Or perhaps you feel an inner push that prompts you to walk away from certain friendships, relationships, or environments that no longer feel right. These changes may feel confusing and even painful, but they are not accidental. They are part of a larger process of pruning that spiritually reshapes your life so that you are ready for what comes next. Just as a gardener prunes a plant to ensure that it grows healthy and strong, God is pruning your life. This process is not about punishment or loss. It is about making room for things that serve your purpose and move you to the next level of your journey. Sometimes, this means letting go of relationships or situations that no longer match the way you want to be. It may feel uncomfortable to leave people who have been close to you for a long time, but not everyone is meant to accompany you on every step of your journey. Think of your life like a ladder. At each level, you are being called to new experiences, opportunities, and challenges that require a different version of you. Some people in your life may feel comfortable staying at a lower level, content with where they are. This doesn't make them bad people, but it does mean they may not be willing to walk with you as you climb higher. As you climb higher, the dynamics between you and some people may change. You may move on from relationships that were once gratifying, or you may find that their energy no longer matches yours. It is important to recognize that this pruning is a natural part of your spiritual and personal growth. When God is preparing you for something new, He makes sure that only those who align with your purpose and destiny remain in your life. This may mean that people who were once close to you begin to pull away, or that you feel the need to distance yourself from certain situations. This is not out of spite or anger, but because you are being led to something greater, and only those who support that growth can remain with you. This does not mean that you will be left alone. In fact, when God removes certain people from your life, it is often because He is making room for new connections that are more aligned with your future. The right people, those who will support, encourage, and walk with you in this next chapter, are waiting to enter your life. But they cannot come while your life is still filled with relationships that no longer serve you. Sometimes you have to let go of what is no longer for you so that you can find what is for you. Letting go of relationships can be difficult, especially when they have been an important part of your life. But remember, this is not about rejection or failure. It is about growth. It is about trusting that God knows what and who you need to fulfill your purpose. The people who are meant to go with you will stay, and those who are not will naturally fall away. This does not diminish their role in your life. They were important at that particular time. But as you grow, your circle changes, reflecting your new level of purpose and vision. As you grow, the people around you will change. Some may fall away and others will step in to give your life a new direction. This is all part of the divine plan. The people who are meant to walk with you in this next chapter will match your energy, your vision, and your purpose. The breakthrough is closer than you think. After all the waiting, the trials, and the moments where your faith was pushed to its limits, you are closer to your breakthrough than you realize. It's easy to grow weary when you've been holding on for so long, praying, fasting, and crying out for a shift in your life. But all of that effort, all of those sleepless nights and tear-filled prayers were not in vain. You've been in a season of preparation, and now you're standing at the edge of something truly miraculous. That life-changing moment, the one you've been hoping for with every fiber of your being, is on its way. The journey leading up to this point hasn't been easy. You've faced trials that tested your strength, challenges that made you question everything, and periods of silence where it seemed like nothing was happening. But all of these experiences were necessary. They were shaping you, molding you, and preparing you for what's about to unfold. Every struggle was a step closer to your breakthrough. You may not have realized it at the time, but each trial was building something inside of you: resilience, wisdom, faith that will allow you to carry the weight of the blessings that are about to be released in your life. Breakthroughs don't always come when we expect them. Often, they arrive just when we're about to give up, when we feel like we've reached the end of our strength. But that's the beauty of divine timing. God knows exactly when to bring the miracle you've been waiting for, and it always comes at the perfect moment, even if it feels like it's taken longer than you thought it should. The waiting was part of the preparation. It was making sure that when the breakthrough comes, you're ready to step into it fully. What's coming isn't just any ordinary change. It's going to shake the very foundations of your existence in the most glorious way possible. This breakthrough will not only transform your life, but also ripple out to those around you. Sometimes we think our prayers and breakthroughs are just about us, but they often have a far greater impact than we can imagine. The miracle that's coming will inspire others. It will create a wave of change that touches the lives of people in your family, community, or even beyond. God has been setting you up not just for a personal victory, but for something much bigger. As this breakthrough approaches, you might feel a mixture of excitement and anxiety. That's natural. When you're on the brink of something so powerful, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But rest assured, everything you've been through has prepared you for this. You've grown stronger, more spiritually attuned, and more grounded in your faith. Now, as the breakthrough draws near, you'll be able to handle it with grace and wisdom because you've been through the fire and you've come out refined. Sometimes the final stretch before the breakthrough is the hardest. It can feel like the pressure is at its peak or that the obstacles are the biggest they've ever been. But this is often a sign that the shift is closer than you think. Just as the darkest hour comes before the dawn, the biggest challenges can come right before the miracle. It's important in these moments to keep holding on, to keep trusting, even when things don't seem to make sense. The breakthrough is closer than you think, and soon you will see the fruits of all that you've endured. When this breakthrough arrives, it will be undeniable. It will be the kind of shift that makes you look back and realize that every challenge was worth it. The pieces of your life that didn't seem to fit together will suddenly make sense. You'll understand why certain doors had to close, why you had to go through certain trials, and why the waiting period was necessary. What's coming will be bigger, more beautiful, and more impactful than you could have ever imagined. Faith amidst silence is vital. There are times in life when it feels like God has gone silent, as if your prayers are floating into an empty void with no response. You might be pouring your heart out, asking for guidance, answers, or a sign, but all you get in return is silence. These moments can feel deeply unsettling, as if you're left alone to navigate your struggles without any help or direction. But this silence doesn't mean you're being ignored. In fact, it's often during these quiet times that God is working the most, aligning everything in the background to prepare you for something incredible. It's natural to associate God's presence with signs, miracles, or moments of divine intervention. When we don't see those things happening, it's easy to feel like nothing is going on at all. But the truth is, faith isn't about only trusting when we can see the results or feel the answers immediately. True faith grows in those moments when it seems like nothing is happening. It's believing that even when God seems silent, He is still very much involved in your life, working behind the scenes in ways you can't yet perceive. Imagine a tapestry being woven. From the back, all you see is a mess of threads, tangled, disorganized, with no apparent pattern. But from the front, a beautiful picture is slowly taking shape. That's what's happening during the times when God feels silent. You may not see the full picture yet, and things might look chaotic or out of place, but God is weaving something beautiful for you, thread by thread. The people, opportunities, and circumstances that will lead to your breakthrough are being carefully aligned, even though you can't see it right now. Waiting in the silence can feel like the hardest thing to do. It's easy to start doubting, wondering if your prayers are being heard or if you're on the right path. But this waiting period is actually a vital part of the process. It's during this time that your faith is stretched and strengthened. Faith isn't just believing when everything is going well. It's holding on when there's no immediate evidence that anything is happening. It's trusting that even though you don't have all the answers yet, the answer is on its way. The silence doesn't mean that God is absent. Sometimes it's in this quiet space that we are invited to listen more closely, not to external signs but to the deeper whispers of our own hearts. It's an opportunity to grow, to dig deeper into our trust and belief, to develop a relationship with God that isn't dependent on constant reassurance. This period of silence is often the final stretch before a major breakthrough. It's like the calm before the storm, a moment of stillness before everything starts to shift into place. God's timing is perfect, even when it doesn't match ours. The things you're waiting for, the healing, the job, the relationship, the answer, are not being delayed for no reason. They are being crafted and aligned in such a way that when they do arrive, it will be the right moment and they will be exactly what you need. If things happened prematurely, before everything was ready, they wouldn't have the same impact. Sometimes God is silent because He's putting the finishing touches on the miracle He's preparing for you. So when you feel like God is silent, take heart. Silence doesn't mean inactivity. Behind the scenes, He's moving pieces you can't see yet, preparing everything for the perfect moment. This time of waiting is part of the process. It's where your faith is tested and strengthened. Trust that, even in the quiet, God is deeply involved in your life. He's not distant. He's crafting something extraordinary for you. Divine timing is perfect. It's natural to wonder why your breakthrough hasn't arrived yet, especially when you've been waiting, hoping and praying for what feels like a long time. You might find yourself asking, why is it taking so long? Haven't I done everything I'm supposed to do? These questions are understandable, but it's important to remember that God's timing is perfect. Even though it might feel delayed from your perspective, it's not delayed at all. It's arriving exactly when it's supposed to. The divine operates beyond human constraints, and what might seem like a frustrating wait is actually part of a flawless plan. We often want things to happen on our timeline. We have our own ideas about when and how things should unfold in our lives, and when they don't happen as quickly as we expect, it's easy to feel like something is wrong or that we're being overlooked. But from a spiritual perspective, what we perceive as a delay is actually divine timing at work. God doesn't operate within the same sense of time that we do. He sees the entire picture, every detail, every connection, every future consequence that we can't possibly see or understand in the moment. Sometimes the waiting period isn't about you doing something wrong or not being ready. It's about everything else falling into place. Think of it like a puzzle. Each piece needs to be in the right position for the entire picture to make sense. You may be ready for your breakthrough, but God is making sure that all the surrounding circumstances, the people and the opportunities are perfectly aligned so that when your breakthrough arrives, it will be both powerful and permanent. It's not just about giving you what you want. It's about making sure that when it comes, it's the best possible version of what you need. During this waiting period, it can be tempting to doubt or question whether your prayers are being heard. But the truth is, God is always working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it. Sometimes the most significant movements are happening in silence, in the spaces where it seems like nothing is changing. But that doesn't mean things aren't happening. In fact, it's often during these quiet times that the most profound work is being done. God is ensuring that every piece of the puzzle fits together in a way that will benefit you not just for a moment, but for the long haul. Patience is a key part of trusting in divine timing. It's about surrendering your need for control and trusting that things are unfolding exactly as they should. This doesn't mean passively waiting or giving up on your dreams. It means actively preparing yourself and staying in faith, knowing that what's meant for you is coming at the right time. The waiting period is often a time of growth and preparation. It's a chance for you to become the person who can fully receive and steward the blessings that are on their way. Think of it like a seed planted in the ground. You don't see anything happening above the soil for a long time, but underground, the seed is slowly transforming. Roots are forming, and eventually, when the time is right, the seed will break through the soil and bloom. Your breakthrough is much like that seed. You may not see the changes right now, but things are shifting beneath the surface. When the time is right, everything will fall into place, and it will happen in a way that feels almost effortless because all the groundwork has already been laid. God's timing isn't just about getting what you want when you want it. It's about receiving your blessings in a way that is perfectly aligned with your highest good. Sometimes, if things happen too soon, we're not ready to handle them, or the people and opportunities connected to those blessings aren't in the right place yet. By waiting for divine timing, you're ensuring that when your breakthrough comes, it will be exactly what you need, when you need it, and it will be long-lasting. Your purpose is being revealed. Through this process of preparation, clarity is coming. The questions you had about your purpose, your calling, and your destiny are becoming more transparent. God is sharpening your vision and aligning you with His will in a more profound way. What once seemed foggy is now crystal clear, and this understanding will serve as your compass for the next season. Final words, chosen ones, remember that this journey wasn't random. God has been orchestrating every detail to prepare you for a breakthrough that will exceed anything you've ever imagined. Hold on, because what's coming will be worth every moment of waiting, every tear shed, and every prayer whispered. God's plan for you is unfolding, and soon the world will witness the glory He's been shaping in you all along. Your breakthrough is not just a possibility, it's a promise, and God always keeps His promises. Keep the faith, because the life-changing moment is closer than you think.